This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, yes. Mattering who the host is and being on here is two entirely different things as we are talking. Anyways, how are you on this terrific Tuesday, December the 13th of 2022? Day 347th of the year. Yes, that's what it is. And only 18 days left to go. Anyways, we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida. Yeah, Florida. That's where we're hanging out, doing all the fun stuff. And we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place that we do stuff.
Radio Big.
Oh, yes, hanging out with Radio Big and going across the multiverse known as Safety FM. So how was your overnight? I have to tell you, mine was pretty interesting. If I'm keeping it 100, as we are talking. A lot of stuff going on, but not enough to brag about. If you can't say that, not a lot of stuff to brag about as we are talking. But some things definitely going on because that is important to talk. So I was taking a look around last night, and boy, a lot of interesting things coming out of all kinds of different camps, which we're going to talk about here in just a bit, because that is what we do around here. And I was impressed with the amount of people that reached out yesterday to me in regards of my, my rant at the very beginning of the show that I guess I did not realize 100% that it was a rant, but I guess somebody looked at it as a rant, and I guess, I guess it is what the people say. If the people say that it was a rant, I guess it was a rant. So I guess I was ranting first thing in the morning, which I haven't done in quite some time. So I guess that's a good thing. Anyways, with that being said, why don't we start talking immediately about the things that were trending?
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so taking it from the top yesterday, looking at the hashtags, I will tell you, Mandy Rose was hitting Twitter's top 10 yesterday as she was going all over the place. Being talked about, and then come to be a discovery of a video and some picture leaks. And Mandy Rose is a professional wrestler down in Orlando for WWE's brand of NXT. Also trending yesterday was Golden Globes was trending on Monday after nominees were announced. We can talk a little bit more about that if you care. Dave Chappelle landed on Twitter's top 10 trends after bringing a controversial guest on stage during his gig on Sunday. We can talk a little bit more about that. And then, of course, Bob Barker was actually hitting the trends yesterday as Twitter was sending him, the Price is Right host birthday wishes as he turned 99 yesterday. Many thanked him for getting them through their sick days at home when they were going to school. I mean, and I'll tell you, if you did have a sicky icky day when let's talk about how video services were not as popular, and also we were talking about being limited to channels at the time of whatever the hell network stations had. You more than likely sat your ass down and watched some Price is Right, or laid down as you were doing it, because that's the way that it was going back then. Just kind of the sticky ickiness of what the hell was going on back in the day. Just really how it works. So there you go. Anyway, so let me do this now, because I don't want to forget, because I'll mention it now. If not later, I'll be like, oh, I was supposed to talk about that. Let's talk about this event that's coming up for the Safety Differently workshop, being hosted by Todd Conklin, Martha Acosta, Mark Yeston, and Bob Edwards. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to safetyfm.io. It is taking place in March in good old Santa Fe, New Mexico. Yeah, that's Santa Fe, New Mexico. If you want to come and hang out and see what the hell's going on over there, there is no problemo with you doing so. All you have to do is go to safetyfm.io to find out more information. That'll make it kind of a simple process in doing so. So there you go, a lot of stuff about that. By the way, I had an interesting thing happen yesterday, and I thought it was very, very, very weird, to be quite honest with you. I had someone reach out to me trying to get a hold of somebody else because I guess they assumed that I had a bat phone. Yeah, I'll call it a bat phone on how to get a hold of somebody that they couldn't get a hold of. I was like, oh, I didn't realize that I was the intermediary in regards to being able to do so. Also, on the other side of the equation, I had somebody reach out to somebody else yesterday to try to get a hold of me, which I was like, I didn't even know that was a thing. It's like trying to go to the gas company to talk about your water bill, because it's not like I'm friends with any of the people that were trying to interact. It was just like, this is a weird thing. And I just thought that yesterday, having two of those things in one day was just the world of the strange. I just guess things are getting weirder and weirder as we get towards the end of the year. Anyways, with that being said, let's get you into some news, because I think that's going to be important.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Mark Mayfield. President Biden is going to host African leaders this week for a 3-day summit that kicks off today. 49 African heads of state and the African Union Commission chair will be in Washington for the U.S.-Africa Leaders Summit. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said leaders will discuss a range of issues, including trade, investment, and strengthening democracy on the continent. FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried is in custody after being arrested in the Bahamas. Brian Shook reports.
In a statement, the country's attorney general said the U.S. had filed unspecified criminal charges against the former crypto billionaire and was likely to request his extradition. The news comes as Bankman-Fried was expected to testify before a House committee this week. He's being investigated for his role following FTX's sudden collapse last month. I'm Brian Shook.
Senator Joe Manchin says he respects Senator Kyrsten Sinema's decision to leave the Democratic Party. The West Virginia Democrat also told reporters he's not considering making the same move at the moment. The Arizona senator announced on Friday that she had registered as an independent 4 years after being elected as a Democrat. A judge has ruled against Iowa's fetal heartbeat law on a technicality. Trey Thomas explains.
The Iowa Supreme Court had blocked the law by issuing a permanent injunction. Governor Kim Reynolds' administration took the issue to court after the U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. Polk County Judge Celine Gogarty has ruled that there's no path to change a permanent injunction. Reynolds issued a statement saying she was very disappointed and plans to appeal. I'm Trey Thomas.
And the Sheriff's Department in Uvalde, Texas, where 19 students and 2 teachers were murdered back in May, did not have a policy on how to handle active shooters. That's one of the conclusions from a newly released independent review. There is now a plan in place. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
Always replicated, but never duplicated. Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. There have been clashes between Indian and Chinese troops at the country's border. 6 people have been shot dead during a siege in remote Queensland in Australia. UK commuters are facing more disruption as another national rail strike gets underway, and China and Hong Kong are scrapping the use of COVID-19 mobile apps that track people's travel history and restrict public movements.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
The White House is defending Dr. Anthony Fauci following an attack from Twitter CEO Elon Musk.
These attacks, these personal attacks that we have been seeing are dangerous on Dr. Fauci and other public health professionals as well. That's Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, who spoke to reporters on Monday. It comes after Musk called for the prosecution of Fauci over his guidance during the COVID-19 pandemic. Jean-Pierre noted Fauci served under 7 Democratic and Republican presidents and has dedicated his career to public service. She said his work during the HIV/AIDS crisis and the COVID-19 pandemic saved countless lives. President Biden is expected to sign the Respect for Marriage Act into law during a celebration at the White House today. The bipartisan bill that passed through Congress is aimed to protect marriage for LGBTQ+ and interracial couples. It also requires all states to recognize marriages legally performed in other states. In a tweet Monday, Biden said the bill will ensure that LGBTQ youth will grow up knowing they can lead full, happy lives and build families of their own. The head of ABC News says that a pair of Good Morning America anchors will remain off-air pending an internal review. Lisa Taylor has the story.
President Kim Godwin sent a memo to network employees acknowledging the formal probe into the Amy Robach. While the memo didn't specify what the investigation was about, Holmes and Robach have been in the headlines after pictures surfaced that suggested the two were in a romantic relationship. The duo has been off the air since December 5th. I'm Lisa Taylor.
A Libyan man suspected in the 1988 bombing of Pan Am Flight 103 over Lockerbie, Scotland, is back in lockup after making an appearance in a D.C. court. He faces 2 counts of destruction of an aircraft resulting in death. The explosion killed all 270 people on board, including 190 Americans, many of which were students flying home for Christmas after a semester abroad. And a second protester has been executed in Iran. State media reports the execution happened following a quick trial. The 23-year-old man was put to death by public hanging less than a month after being arrested. Mark Mayfield, NBC News Radio.
You are listening to a renowned safety expert, Dr. Jay Allen, on Safety FM. Changing safety cultures, one broadcast and one podcast at a time. Join the fun on social media and find us on Facebook at Safety FM.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobilemobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello. Live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for and there they go. Almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fam favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/
the right seat.
Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Look through your children's eyes to see the true magic of a forest. It's a storybook world for them. You look and see a tree. They see the wrinkled face of a wizard with arms outstretched to the sky. They see treasure in pebbles. They see a windy path that could lead to adventure. And they see you, their fearless guide through this fascinating world.
Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Duh.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and were not 100% sure on what they meant. Things as mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
Tearing the ass out of you like gas station sushi.
Okay, there you go. 17 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out and doing all the fun stuff that we get to do. So let's talk about it real quick. Sam Bankman-Fried was arrested in the Bahamian authorities on Monday after American protesters filed criminal charges against him, including wire fraud, securities fraud, and money laundering, among others. The SBF was scheduled to testify in Congress by video later today. American officials will likely get a smooth extradition for SBF back to the States. Hilariously, in a live stream audio interview earlier on Monday, SBF said that he planned to testify to Congress by video because of his busy schedule and was worried about being swarmed by the paparazzi if they were to travel. He later said explicitly, "I don't think that I'll be arrested." Well, obviously, SBF said that that he was playing video games during the interview, so yeah, pretty overbooked, I would assume. I guess, things did not go as planned. And now an update on people who still are billionaires. Stock prices are jousting on Monday. That means Elon Musk is no longer the richest man in the world, with Tesla shares down 6.3%. Musk slid below Bernard Arnault, the chairman of LVMH, the company being a luxury brand like Louis Vuitton. So there you go. Let's see. What else? Bernard's worth is about $186.2 billion, while Elon Musk is now at $181.3 billion. Jeff Bezos can suck it. Meanwhile, at number 4 at $113.3 billion. Because, having billions and billions of dollars is really going to make that huge of a difference that you don't realize what's going on. And then what else? Meta, the parent company of social media app Facebook, was reportedly ended a pretty excellent perk to its employees, a $200 monthly stipend to spend on Lyft. Business Insiders reports that another cost-cutting measure at the company as the national economy braces for a dangerous economic slowdown. So when I start taking a listen to that, and I go, okay, this is the moolah-oolah of what the hell's going on. This is what happens. Well, if you go, well, there's a cut down and there's a price cut and all this kind of fun stuff, and you all of a sudden say you're taking away $200 on a Lyft share ride. I mean, what are we talking about here? maybe 2 rides, maybe 3. I mean, maybe possibly 4.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, researchers at the Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory have reportedly made a huge breakthrough in fusion energy technology, whereas nuclear reactors today are powered by let's see. It says fission technology, but maybe it's fusion technology, harnessing the power of atoms breaking apart. Fusion is a result of the multiple atoms colliding to form a larger one. At a scale of fusion technology would essentially provide limitless clean energy. Doesn't it sound like the plot to the movie The Saint? Cold fusion. Yeah, that's an older movie, so you might have to look that up. The recent breakthrough for the first time netted more surplus energy than the amount of energy needed to create the reaction. While promising don't expect nuclear fusion sites across the globe at any time soon, it will come with some time to figure out how to create enough surplus energy to be practical. The Department of Energy is expected to make a formal briefing about the findings later today. This is according to CNN. So as you hear that, this sounds like the plot to the amazing, Spider-Man 2? You know, the original ones with Tobey Maguire? Or the plot to the good old movie, The Saint. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we can get some clean energy around and do some fun things with that. That would be something to talk about. So Reuters reports that Russian military is turning 40-year-old ammunition rounds as it struggles to keep troops stocked as its invasion of the Ukraine. American diplomats have suggested that Russia is brokering deals with North Korea and Iran to keep their troops armed. Analysts say that the current rate Russia will deplete its stores early next year without outside involvement. Russia officials' line is that no other country is aiding its invasion. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on right there as we are talking. What else is going on? Let me take a look. 2 men have been freed from prison after 25 years following the efforts of its true crime podcast that was investigating their case. Daryl Lee Clark and Kane Joshua Story were convicted of shooting their 15-year-old friend at a party back in 1996. At the time, the men were just 17 years of age, said they were playing a dangerous game of Russian roulette, but prosecutors made the case that they staged the game and conspired to kill the friend. Throughout, Clark and Story had maintained their innocence, but the podcasters eventually got the key witness to admit that she gave a coerced testimony to the police, and another witness to cast doubt to the recollection of the incident. I mean, think about that. We start talking about these things, about how these podcasts are now going around and about and convincing some to change some of the things that are going on. I mean, I look at it and I go, is this something that's really illy in regards to being able to pull some of these things off? Because it's quite amazing to me that this is something that's possible to even do. I mean, the overturn. I mean, I guess I watch a lot of documentaries related to court cases that you would almost think that it is going to take like an act of Congress. Sorry about that. In regards of getting things to change. And essentially, that's what it might actually be when you really start thinking about it.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real.
You know, I love when I click something and it's wrong.
It's this show, and they just make fun of a whole bunch of people. It's just too funny. It's too stupid.
Rated R Safety Show.
Yep, I'm still going through my noob stages, apparently. I'm a noob. First time doing this, it sounds like. Anyways, the oldest known pair of jeans in the world has been sold at auction for $114,000. The white work pants featured 5-button fly, and they were found in a shipwreck from 1857 off the coast of North Carolina. They were also the board of the SSS Central America, which sank in a hurricane on September the 12th that year. Recovery teams have been surfacing artifacts from the wreck since 1988, which have so far sold together more than $1 million worth. So, hold on. Are you trying to tell me that there was only one pair of jeans in the whole thing? Because that's going to be a weird one if that's the case. I want to know more. I really do. Anyways, with that being said, talking about money, let's get some John Small inside of here and let him tell us what the hell's going on inside of the beat of the market.
Market Beat Minute for Tuesday, December 13th, 2022. Equity markets started the week on a solid footing and lifted the S&P 500 more than 1.3% at the high of the session. The move is driven by optimism the FOMC will slow the pace of interest rate hikes at the meeting on Wednesday, but the hope may be misplaced. While the Fed may slow the pace of hikes at this meeting, it is still on pace to hike rates above 5% by the middle of next year, and there is risk in the outlook. The biggest risk for the market this week, other than the FOMC, is the CPI index for November, which is expected to show a slight moderation in headline inflation, but the core is expected to hold steady at 0.3% month to month. At this pace, there is a chance the FOMC will not slow the pace of interest rate hikes because easing back on the pressure may allow the economy to accelerate. The labor market is also still strong. So assuming the CPI is strong as well, there's every reason to believe the Fed will keep the pressure on. You can get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for the information, because we definitely needed it. There is no doubt about that. As we are talking, moving and grooving and all the other fun stuff that you say in the lingo that's part of the bingo of the things that we do around here. Now, if I'm taking a look around at the stuff that I was able to find, it goes something like this. The Dow added about 528 points to close at 34,005 points on Monday. The S&P added about 56 points to close at 3,990, and the NASDAQ added about 139 points to close at 11,143. West Texas Intermediate closed at $73 a barrel, and Brent crude closed at 78. The national average of the price of a gallon of gas was at $3.26 on Monday. Bitcoin was trading around $17,200 on Monday, and there was 3,799 flights delayed within and into and out of the United States on Monday. That's 3,799. That's crazy. Also, there was 168 such cancellations amid the widespread worsening winter storms. Winter storms. Yep, that's a thing. So, okay, let's start talking about it because it is Tuesday, so you know that we're going to talk about La Música, because that's what we do on Tuesdays. We talk about the music that's going on. Anyways, if I'm taking a look around at some of the stuff that's going on real quick, let's talk about it. Coming in from the side of iTunes, and we need to talk about some music here. At the number 5 spot was Meghan Trainor with Made You Look. At number 4 was Brenda Lee with Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree. At number 3, Sam Smith and Kim Petras with Unholy. At number 2, Brandi Carlile with The Story. And at the number 1 spot, which I cannot even believe, was Mariah Carey with All I Want for Christmas Is You. There you go. See, I'm telling you, all you need to do is be kind of a good singer and sing a Christmas song. It's kind of catchy, and you'll have a number 1 hit, every year going forward, it sounds like. Okay, coming in from the side of the house from Spotify, it goes like this. Metro Booming and The Weeknd and 21 Savages with Creeping at number 5. At number 4 was Beyonce with Cuff It. At number 3, Sam Smith and Kim Petras with Unholy. At number 2 was Taylor Swift with Antihero. And at the number 1 spot was Zah with Nobody Gets Me. Yeah, nobody gets me. Nobody gets you. So there you go. So nothing, that's nothing more going on there. So a lot of stuff going on, I guess. So there you go. I mean, just kind of a weirder one in regards to what we're talking. Let's take a look around at some other things that are going on. Survivors of a mass shooting are urging Illinois lawmakers to pass the proposed ban to ban assault weapons in a high-capacity magazine. Lauren Bennett spoke yesterday during the first hearing of the Protect Illinois Communities Act. Take a listen.
Imagine a hot metal dart-like projectile tearing through your body at supersonic speed, faster than the speed of sound. You'll feel it burn through your skin.
Bennett was shot twice as the gun erupted during a July the 4th parade in Highland Park. She was among those voicing support for the ban. House Democrat hoped to pass the measure just after the new year. It'll be interesting to see what exactly happens going from there. Take a listen to this. The Bay Area, like other regions across the state, is experiencing a triple demic. I don't even know how to say it. A triple pandemic, I guess is what it sounds like. That includes the rise of flu, COVID-19, and RSV cases, making the requirements coming back. But the UCSF infectious disease expert Monica Galdi tells NBC Bay Area it's not necessary.
A lot of good evidence now that counties that put back mask mandates versus those that didn't, especially after we had vaccines in this country, fared no differently in terms of cases, hospitalizations, and deaths.
Alameda County is requiring masks in jails, long-term health facilities, shelters, and warning centers. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on right there. The most famous mountain lion in Los Angeles has been captured. A team of California Department of Fish and Wildlife caught the P-22 in this woman's backyard in Los Feliz on Monday.
And told me and my husband, who also works from home, to stay inside, keep our dog inside, and that they were going to use a dart to sedate P-22 and carry him out.
So P-22 was tranquilized and taken to the LA Zoo for evaluation. The big cat will be evaluated after 2 recent attacks on leashed dogs that were being walked by their owners. Wildlife officials say that the behavior might be a sign of distress. Los Feliz residents say that that wasn't the first P-22 sighting in their neighborhood.
He was staying over once and was walking his dog early in the morning and saw him on the street, and we knew he was in the area, so when I walk my dog, I'm always cautious.
Jordan Treveso with the California Department of Fish and Wildlife say that there's a chance that P-22 might have to be put down.
If something is very terribly wrong with the cat, then we would have to potentially euthanize him. That is definitely not our goal at this point.
So let's talk about that. P-22 sounds like a straight-up horror movie if you really start giving it some thought there. Just throwing that out there. Anyways, take a listen to this. Staying in California for a moment, Twitter is disbanding the Trust and Safety Council. Mark Mayfield has more info.
Email sent to council members on Monday, the company said it was reevaluating how best to bring external insights into our product and policy development work. It's among the many changes being made by new owner Elon Musk. The council was made up of external expert organizations that handled issues including online safety, human and digital rights, suicide prevention, mental health, child sexual exploitation, and dehumanization. 3 members of the council who resigned last week said in a statement that, contrary to Musk's claims, Twitter's users are on the decline. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Twitter users are on the decline. Does it have anything to do with this council? Maybe that's a good question to talk about because, what is it? Here's the problem, and let's just be realistic. If you say something bad from a place that you were fired from or let go of or contract canceled, people are always going to question, is that like this parting shots in regards to the shit that you're doing? Let's just be realistic. This is kind of the way that it goes. Anyways, 32 minutes past the top of the hour, so you know and I know, so let's do it.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
And so you just heard what they were talking about in regards to the Twitter disband of the Trust and Safety Council. So let's start thinking of some bigger pictures here about some things that are going on inside of our world that are related to that subject matter right there. And what the hell is that subject matter? I don't know. I did say that, so it could be confusing with this or that as we are talking. But what I am referencing to in particular is related to the information that we are talking about the following. We are talking about safety councils. So most organizations that have a versionality of a safety department or some kind of safety program end up having a safety council or a safety committee team or a safety, whatever the hell you want to add that word, but it is a group of representatives from different departments that get together and put together what they're thinking that's going on inside of the world of safety with your organization. So let's talk about that. Do you, number one, have one of those committees? And if so, what does it look like? How many people does it consist of? Now, here's where it gets interesting because we can sit here and go, well, you have one person per department, blah, 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 blah. You have 10 people from the department. I mean, it all really varies on how the size of your organization is really going to be the factor there. But what does it look like to you? And also, do you have it set up where the person who is the highest ranked person related to safety, are they in charge of the committee? Because if they are in charge of the committee, well, that's probably a bad plan. And people are going to go, what? Yes. Think about it real quick. Why would you want that person to be the head? Maybe there's more of kind of like an advisor to the committee, but not really the person that's in charge of the committee, because that's where things can get mixy-ixy, a little bit strange there. And I don't know. There's been so many different variations that I've heard of this in regards of, well, you need to have a safety committee meeting or a council meeting once a month, once a quarter, once every 6 months. I mean, what is the accurate answer? I don't think there is one. I think it varies significantly based on your organization. Who makes that determination? That's a great question. Because here's what I've noticed. If you have a steering committee, if you have a risk committee, if you have all these different committees and they meet once a month and nothing can be actually done until the committee meeting occurs, then that should tell you what the frequency should be. Because I've been to places where I'm talking to someone and goes, well, you can't change that because you didn't get approval from the risk committee. Okay. And the risk committee only meets once every 6 months. Well, that sounds like a pretty shitty risk committee if we're trying to change something and we have to wait 6 months and there are no other circumstances why that risk committee can get together. Now, you can apply the same thing to safety committees as well. So these are the things that you have to think about. So if you don't have a safety committee currently, why is that? Is there a purpose for one? Yes, there is a purpose for one. Because you get an outsider point of view of what is going on from the worker standpoint on what they think changes should be occurring inside of the organization. They can also tell you possibly of what works and what doesn't. And I know a lot of people go, well, I don't want outsiders to tell me what to do. Well, that's not telling you what to do. It's telling you about things that they believe will work. Here's the thing that we need to remember. Having different perspectives, and of course perspectives from the workers, the team members, is always crucial to the changes that go on inside of the organization. Because if you have someone sitting in your corporate office writing some of this as documentation down, not that they're doing a bad thing, but is it something that will actually work within an organization? Will it be something that actually works, period? That's the thing that sometimes we tend to forget. We sometimes tend to forget that if you don't write it in a method that will actually work with the day in and day out work, it's kind of a pointless thing. It's just one of those things that, well, I wanted to put pen to paper because I was kind of bored. That would be the only reason why it's actually there, because nobody's going to use it. So think about it. If you don't have a safety committee meeting or a safety council meeting or even a group or a committee itself, maybe it's time to start planning on putting one together for the new year. Think about that today, because there's a lot of stuff there to think about.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with home title lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Locks puts a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
Wake up and text. Text and eat. Text and catch the bus. Text and miss your stop. Wait. Text and be late to work. Sorry, I'm late. Text and work. Text and pretend to work. Text and act surprised when someone calls you out for not working. Who, me? Text and meet up with a friend you haven't seen in forever.
Hi.
Oh, hey. Text and complain that they're on their phone the whole time. Text and listen to them complain that you're on your phone the whole time. Text and whatever. But when you get behind the wheel, give your phone to a passenger. Put it in the glove box. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Is that a faucet running? That's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest. Forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink.
What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum.
That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest cleaning up the air we breathe.
I didn't know the trees were so amazing.
Yep, and the forest gives us shade, trees to climb.
That's awesome. Let's go explore some more.
Visit the forest today and enjoy all it does, just for you. To learn more about the forest and find one near you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Have you ever wanted to start live streaming and were not sure how to do it? You can start live streaming up to 40 social media platforms all at one time for as little as nada. It's going to cost you your time. That is what it's going to cost. You can pre-record, you can live stream, you can do a multitude of things. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to safetyfm.com/one. That's safetyfm.com, ONE.
What do guys like besides pizza and morning sex?
Jay Allen in the morning.
It's so bizarre and unnatural.
It's all good. On Radio Big.
Always replicated, but never duplicated. Rated R Safety Show.
Anyways, there you go. Currently 43 minutes past the top of the hour as we are hanging out here on the Rated R Safety Show on Radio Big and Safety FM. Yep. This right here, it's Christmas time. This is by Lowell. Thanks to Lowell for allowing us to play this lovely song here on the Rated R Safety Show. Or our numero uno of the Jay Allen in the Morning Show. So there you go, a lot of stuff going on. So take a download of that one on Spotify and iTunes if you're so inclined to do so. You know, I have to tell you this because if not, I'm going to forget about it. I was talking with someone yesterday, and they were telling me that they can't wrap their head around that this is hour one of the Jay Allen in the Morning Show. Because this show is entirely different than what I do on Jay Allen in the morning. And I was like, I am not 100% sure on how that would even be a category, but whatever. I think it's, it's just me being me in some way, shape, or form. Anyways, thanks again to Lowell for allowing us to play It's Christmas Time. Let's get back into it because I think we got a lot of stuff, very little time. And, we got some things going on today that we need to talk about. Before I forget, at the top of the hour, I will be going over exclusively to Radio Big. And so you can come over there if you want to. Hang out with us. We'll be on TuneIn. We'll be on iHeartRadio. You can, even if you have an Apple iPhone, you can just say play Radio Big. And as long as you tell it the right way, it's either going to default to a Biggie Smalls song or you're going to get right into our station. And listen, that station streams 24/7 over there if you want to come and hang out. So just some information right there. Also, let's talk about it because it is that time of the year where people, are getting joyous and they get excited about the holidays. But then there's the other side of the coin. There's also people that don't love this time of the year and they're depressed and they don't love it and they have suicidal thoughts. And this is when we need to talk about this. We need to talk about our friends at 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. They can help you prevent suicide. The Lifeline provides 24/7 free and confidential support for people in distress, prevention, and crisis resources for you and your loved ones, and the best practices for professionals in the United States. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to 988lifeline.org. That's 988lifeline.org, or call 988 or text the word TALK to 988. That will get you moving and grooving inside of there. It's time to show up for your life because that's going to be the important portion. Listen, we can't do your life without you because it is your life. We can't do anything without you, really, if you think about it, because, who else is going to play your part? You're the one designed for it. So think about it in that fashion. So 988lifeline.org. Let's get into some other stuff that's going on inside of this lovely world of ours as we are hanging and banging and doing all the fun stuff that we get to do on a Tuesday, which I almost called a Wednesday because, Wednesday gets me excited. It really does. Anyway, so let's talk about chunk of change. Yes, there are those who fear change, and I'm not joking as I say that. And then there are those who seem to thrive on it. And yes, making a big life decision like switching jobs or moving can be stressful, but according to a new study, it's probably a good idea to make a change. A University of Chicago study asked 22,000 people to make a decision on a dilemma based on the outcome of a coin toss. Questions range from the seriousness, should I start my own business, and should I propose, to should I grow facial hair? I hope that was mostly to guys that they asked that question. If not, that would be kind of weird. They found that for an important decision, like quitting your job or ending a relationship, overwhelmingly, the people who made a change were more content than those who didn't. Study participants who made a change were more likely to say that they would make the same decision if they had to do it all over again. What's more, those who decided not to make a change were happy about their decision at first, but then about 6 months mark, they were not. So it sounds like to me that people are saying you should be more like Harvey Dent, or in this case, Two-Face, which means just flip a coin for it and then make an important decision. That might be the easier thing to do. So just imagine, just go around all day and flip a coin. Maybe that's the better way to do it. So change their minds about not making a change seems kind of interesting too, if you really think about it. I changed my mind that I wasn't happy that I didn't change my mind 6 months ago. So always make the decision to accept making a change, except when dealing with a telemarketer. Maybe that's not the right time for the change to go down. Maybe that's not the time to think about those things, or go, yeah, it is time to make a change because the telemarketer asked me to do the change. I don't know, just some stuff to think about. Anyways, take a listen to this. Detroit police are investigating a road rage shooting that was targeted to an off-duty officer yesterday. Karen Evan lives near where it happened. Take a listen.
There's nobody out in front, and there's no coroner's wagon. I'm just staying prayerful that whatever the situation is, it can be resolved.
She was shot near to where they were located at the lady's home yesterday. Nearly a dozen of officers responded. Police are looking at a surveillance footage from the green light camera to try to identify the suspect. Karen Evans saw the aftermath of the road rage shooting targeting the off-duty police officer.
Until my neighbors start calling my son who lives on the block, and they start calling the neighbors saying, call your mom and see what's going on. But other than that, I don't hear anything.
Take a listen to this. Also coming out of Michigan, 2 people are facing charges for delivering cocaine after a large bust in Wyoming. So how's this Wyoming, Michigan? Yeah, Wyoming, Michigan. That's not confusing. Kent County Opioid Task Force Chair Rachel Chance says they were also caught with a lot of fentanyl.
Increase just astronomically, and actually in 2022 we have had 0 heroin related opioid overdoses. It's just all fentanyl.
49-year-old Betty Martinez and 40-year-old Lamont Simons were arrested, and the 2 were arraigned yesterday. Police say that they were recovered enough fentanyl at a home in Wyoming to kill 500,000 people. Bond for Simmons is up to $1 million, while Martinez bond is $500,000. Kent County Opioid Task Force co-chair Rachel Jans is pleased enough with the fentanyl, has pleased enough to fentanyl to kill 500,000 people has been ceased. Boy, that sounded really confusing at the very beginning.
Incredibly important that we are taking fentanyl off the streets.
Yeah, I'm glad that she's pleased with that, because I really thought that it was saying something else as I was doing it. So there you go. Anyways, it is currently 50 minutes past the top of the hour. So do you know what that means? That means that we need some motivation. So let's go ahead and bring some John Smalls inside of here and let him motivate us all the way.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Tim. Harriet Tubman said, "Every great dream begins with a dreamer. Always remember, you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach the stars to change the world." I love that. We need more dreamers. Imagine how far different the world would be if we didn't have a couple of dreamers who did the impossible and proved man could fly. Or if we didn't have a few dreamers working in a garage to build the first computers. Or a whole network of dreamers who connected those computers to create the internet. Be a dreamer. Do the thing you believe in. Even if it's not possible yet, maybe you can make it possible. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlessaMorgan.com. Omega-3 is incredibly important for early neurodevelopment. Meta-analysis of randomized controlled trials and prospective studies have found IQs of children whose mothers consumed fish during pregnancy nearly 5 to 10 points higher than those of children whose mothers did not eat fish. Babies born to mothers supplemented with DHA during pregnancy were found to have larger brains than babies born to mothers taking a placebo. And in fact, the opposite is true. Deficiency in the DHA omega-3 fatty acid during pregnancy results in poorly developed neurons and decreased synapses in the developing brain. Pregnant women are often told to avoid high mercury fish, such as tuna and swordfish, but this leads many women to reduce their overall intake of all fish and seafood during pregnancy. And that is a mistake. For more information on wellness and nutrition, check out AlessaMorgan.com.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so mistake, stake, synopsis. I mean, I don't know. I'm slightly confused all over the board on what the hell's going on there, but I guess that's kind of part of the rumble in the Bronx that we get to talk about. Anyways, currently 53 minutes past the top of the hour, so what does that mean? That means TikTok, baby. We are about to run out of time being together unless you come over to RadioBig.fm with me. Anyways, let's talk about this real quick. This is going on right now on Safety FM Plus. We have our new ebook, on how to deal with stress and anxiety. That is our new book for the month, our newest ebook. We would love for you to come out and take a gander at it. We do a monthly ebook, and that is the focus of this month. So if you want to come take a look-see at it, you're more than welcome to by going to safetyfmplus.com, or you can just actually scan the QR code that's on the screen, and that will get you over there immediately as well. So there you go, some options to take a gander on what is going on. Anyways, no winner for Friday night's Mega Million drawing. Tonight's drawing will be for $400 million jackpot or a $216.2 million cash payout. So there you go. If you want to play the game, you're more than welcome to do so. What else is going on? Let's take a look at some things that happened back on this day. And if I'm taking a look around, let's see. Let's go to 2000. After nearly 6 weeks of recounts and hanging chads, Al Gore concedes to the presidential election. George W. Bush would be sworn in as the next president of the United States the following January. Gore spoke to America in a televised address from his VP office in the White House. He called for the end of the partisan rancor. Yeah. Though Gore beat Bush by 500,000 votes nationwide, he still lost the Electoral College by 271 to 266. That happened back in 2000. If you're looking at some birthdays for today, let's talk about some of those. It's Maverick Baker's birthday, 22. Emma Corrin, 27. Dermot Kennedy, 32. Taylor Swift, 33. Catherine Schwarzenegger turns 33. Amy Lee, 41. Tom DeLonge, 47. Jamie Foxx, 55. Steve Buscemi, 65. And Dick Van Dyke, yeah, he turns 97 today. If you're looking at some birthdays that are going on out there. So there you go. Some things that are going on. Also, if you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, well, I always have some of those for you as well that we can talk about. It's Day of the Horse, National Cocoa Day, and National Violin Day. So there you go. Some things right there to be grateful for. I don't know. Some things to, I guess, to really make you ponder about what the hell is going on. Take a listen to this real quick because we need to talk about it. The FBI say that hate crimes based on sexual orientation has increased last year.
FBI counted more than 7,200 hate crime incidents in 2021, which is the third highest tally in a decade. And that's with only 65% of law enforcement agencies reporting.
At the Justice Department, news of the intelligence correspondent Ken Dillion says that the overall hate crime numbers remained level. The Bureau reported that nearly 16% of hate crimes in the U.S. in 2021 were based on by the offender's bias towards their victim's sexual orientation. Just under 65% were based on race, ethnicity, while a little more than 13% were based on a person's religion. The FBI noted that 2021 saw nearly 30% drop in the police agencies reporting the data of the new data that is being reported by the agency, with some bigger agencies among those who reported the figures.
Researchers have found big increases in hate crimes across the board.
Dillion believes that the FBI believes that things will be better next year.
They've actually spent millions of dollars, the Justice Department has, providing grants to law enforcement agencies to transition them to this new data reporting system that they say will be more granular and more comprehensive.
So there you go, some information to really think about as we are talking. Anyways, if you need a random joke for today, shout out at all the people who don't know what the opposite of in is. Yes, the opposite of in is. Okay, if you need a phone starter for today, try this. What is the best gift you ever received that wasn't purchased from a store? Can we talk about that on the radio? Because I'm not even sure. Okay, so there you go. If you need something for the water cooler, try this. Question: the average family will do this 8 times during the holidays. What is it? Eat leftovers. I mean, come on. What else are you gonna? What else were you thinking? What else were you thinking? So there you go. So that's going to pretty much sum up our time together in regards of what the hell we have going on. So thank you for coming out this morning and hanging out with me. I appreciate it. If you want to come over to radiobig.fm, I'll be going over there for the next couple hours or so, doing the things that we get to do on that side of the house. So thank you for coming out and doing all the marvelous things that you do. Thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener. Because without you, there is truly no purpose to do what we do here. Think about it. Anyways, if I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. Friends are those rare people who ask, how are you, then actually wait for an answer. Think about that. That one might get you a little bit further than what you really expected. Think about it. Do you really have some true friends out there? Think about it. Anyways, I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.